Okay, now I think we're ready. So I would like to introduce myself quickly. I'm Janine Fuchs, one of the co-founders of WeShape Tech. We founded WeShape Tech in 2016, and we've been going strong ever since. And I also am co-founder of Graphic2. It's a company that exists 12 years on visual communication and brand positioning. I'm very excited about this special format of Lunch and Learn because it has to do with design and technology, and very excited for you to see this as well. Next slide, please. So WeShape Tech is a network for greater diversity in technology and innovation. Our goal is 50% women and men in the workforce over all levels. For this, next slide, please. We have 4 chapters in Switzerland. We have 1 in Bern, Basel, Le Mans, and Zurich. And please, if you're interested in introducing a chapter in one of a canton that isn't represented yet, please get in contact with us. Be great. So these are our pillars that all our actions are based on. First of all, we have a very strong focus on networking. So at any of our events, you will get a lot of networking to do and possibilities to network, obviously. And a lot of our events are based on the topic of role models, because we know how effective the showing of role models is on any career path of somebody perceiving a role model. And one of our favorite formats at the moment is the knowledge transfer. This is what we're doing today. So we believe in the potential of a community that learns from each other. We provide for the network and the platform, but it's basically our members and you who share your knowledge with each other, get access to new topics, can learn for yourself, and can also choose to present something to the rest of the community. If you have an idea for this, please get in contact with us. All our initiatives lead to a great empowerment, and this is our main focus, obviously. And we also believe that the topic of diversity can also only be solved if men and women solve the problem and work on the diversity. Thank you. This is an impression of one of our live events last year at Tamedia. It's a crash course in coding. And then the next format, this is the Lunch and Learn format. Obviously, we introduced this year due to COVID, the Lunch and Learn webinar. So please feel free to make some noise on social media. These are our handles. And then I'm very happy and excited to welcome Accenture. Enjoy.
Yes,
and Linda Bloom, sorry, I would like to hand over to Linda Bloom. There you go.
Thank you so much, Janine. Thank you for the introduction and for the amazing collaboration we had during the last few weeks, months to organize this session. Thank you so much for everything you are doing to make diversity visible in the tech industry. I think it's truly amazing and very much needed. So we are very excited to be here today and to have the opportunity to present a little bit of Accenture about our work that we are doing. And yeah, looking forward to the session today and also to see so many participants. My name is Linda Bloom. I've been with Accenture for 4 years. I'm part of the Salesforce business group, so implementing Salesforce solutions at the client sites and also active in business development. I'm based in Zurich. And diversity is one of the topics it's important for me, especially since 2 years since my daughter was born. I'm more active in this topic with engagements like this one, and also with our Bring Women Back to Work program, which we launched with our technology partner Salesforce to reintegrate women back into the workforce when they had a longer career break. So with us today from Accenture, we also have Julia Stübi, who is a requirements engineer within also our Accenture technology practice. We have Natalie, who is going to present the keynote today from our Liquid Studio. She's an AI specialist, so very happy to have you here, Natalie, today. and Joshua, who is from our recruiting, and he can answer all your questions regarding recruiting topics in the end. So before we deep dive into today's keynote, I would just like to briefly give you an overview over Accenture. And maybe before that, I forgot, to tell you a bit of background about how this collaboration was initiated. So actually 2 years ago, during my maternity leave, I attended one of the WeShape Tech events in Basel at the Adobe Research Center. And I thought this is a great format, great community, great initiative. Why don't we do this at our future camp in Zurich with Accenture? So this year, finally, we had the opportunity with Julia to post or to launch this idea within an innovation contest internally at Accenture. And we got some very positive feedback, and we also received time as a response to that to work on this idea and to initiate this collaboration. So very happy to be here today, not in a live event. Our future camp, we would love to host it there, but under these conditions, we're very happy that we have this format here to make this possible. So yes, back to Accenture, just give you a short overview. We are an international company with over 500,000 employees, and we offer end-to-end solutions to our clients. So really from strategy consulting to technology implementations. And this is the key differentiator to our competitors. So we have industry experts, technology experts in many fields, and also strong in innovation and research. This is the topic you will hear about today. I'm very excited to present you this today by Natalie. So Julia will just give you a brief overview over iDiversity initiatives as well.
Okay,
Thank
super.
you, Julia.
Thank you, Linda. Yeah, as you heard, my name is Julia. I'm an Agile Requirements Engineer, and I'm supporting our clients to deliver large-scale software solutions. And currently, I'm the delivery lead for an Agile software delivery engagement with an on-site and an offshore development team. But apart from my role as a delivery lead and requirements engineer, I'm very passionate about inclusion and diversity topics at Accenture, and I'm happy that I can give you a high-level overview of what we actually do. So the first one, gender. Yes, we are very committed to a culture of diversity, of equality, and we actually made it our top priority to reach a gender equal workforce by 2025. For this, we have our very own women initiative, and we are committed to represent the unique needs of our female workforce. For example, we have a female mentoring program where we pair up our junior colleagues with more senior colleagues and leaders and role models from our own industry so that we can guide and coach them during their career within Accenture. And then we also have a female talent program, which is for external female tech students. And we want to coach and support them to progress their career into a technical subject. And with these initiatives in place, we have already realized that 47% of our newcomers are actually women, which brings us closer to our goal of having a gender balanced workforce. And our own CEO, Julie Sweet, she was actually announced to be 2020's most influential woman by Fortune, which is very cool and we are very proud of. And then another inclusion and diversity topic which we support at Accenture very much is the LGBTIQ community. For this, we have our own Pride network where we represent the interests of our LGBTIQ colleagues among Accenture and with our client, because what we want to achieve is a zero tolerance culture towards any kind of discrimination towards sexual orientation or gender identity. Could you please move one slide forward? Thank you. Yes, just on a side note, very briefly, I wanted to give you our contact details and tell you how you can find our career website. But Joshua is going to paste the links into the chat, and then afterwards you will also have more opportunities to ask questions if you might have. Okay, then I would actually like to stop here and kick off the main part of our event. And I'm very happy that I can hand over to our main speaker of today, to Natalie.
Thanks, Julia. So welcome everyone. I'm super happy that I have the opportunity to talk here in this webinar for so many people about what we are doing in the Liquid Studio and in Accenture regarding innovation, specifically in the AI area. So first of all, a few words to myself. So I'm working in the Liquid Studio since beginning of 2018 and leading there the AI team for the regions Austria, Switzerland, and Germany. And before I came to Accenture, I was doing a computer science studies in the Technical University of Darmstadt. And during this education, I was actually already doing some internship at Accenture, like 2014. And back then I was part of the project management office, means more about actually taking care that user stories, for example, I finished in time, to take care that all the time reportings are done and so on. So it was a role that was absolutely not technical. And back then I thought like, okay, if this is all kind of like what is done in consulting companies, then I actually don't want to go there, because for me it was important to really go physically more myself in and do the technical part. And so back then kind of like I striked out Accenture as my future company, to be honest. And then 1 year later or 2 years later, one of my colleagues I got to know during my internship came back to me, and he called me and said like, hey, we have this super cool, innovative new program in Accenture, which is called Liquid Studio. Don't you want to come back? And this was kind of like the moment I saw like that sounds really cool, because here we're not like having some coordinational things as the main part, but really innovation is the main part. So it's all about prototyping of innovative topics like deep learning, and see how we can use them for clients to improve their current processes, which was super interesting. So I actually, after all, came back to Accenture, and I have to say I'm very happy that I'm back here and working on all these very cool, innovative topics. So let me introduce you what we are actually doing in the Liquid Studio. So the Liquid Studio is kind of like a door opener to other clients. What I mean by door opener is that clients who have an issue can come to the Liquid Studio to ideate on their problems, to identify the goals, and then create very small rapid prototypes or POCs to see if the solution that we came up with actually is going to help with the current situation, before you really work on a large-scale project where you then afterwards might see that it actually doesn't solve the problem that you focused on. And this is the idea of the Liquid Studio, to have this first step to the client to see what is the perfect solution for this client in his current state of the problems. And for that, we are working together with different startups, for example, in direction of blockchain, or also like 3D printing startups, to create easily the kind of technology that we need there. And we're also having partner ecosystems. So we're working together with the large cloud providers like Google, AWS, IBM, Microsoft, but also with, for example, SAP and other different large companies, you know, about that kind of like have a lot of influence. So we are working with them together to make things fast possible. So for our locations, our main location is actually in Kronberg. It's close to Frankfurt in Germany, but we also have locations in Garching, which is close to Munich, and in Zurich. So these are our main operation places, but we also have colleagues in other places like in Berlin or in Austria, in Vienna. So let me show you some sample projects that we did specifically in our Liquid Studio in Zurich in Switzerland. So one of our cases was for a Swiss bank, to create a prototype which is able to classify emails and extract information from there. And here these emails can be either like standard emails or emails which have an attachment in there with like written letters, for example. So we were able to first put an OCR on the document to have the text identified in normal text for the computer to be able to work with. And then we were using a random forest classifier to understand the topic of this email. In that case, we were looking specifically for unstructured payments, and we extracted information from the letter, which was saying, for example, who is the receiver, who is the sender, when should this payment sent to the receiver, and so on. So these were the details we were extracting, and then we pre-filled a complete payment request, and an employee could then finalize the payment by saying if everything is okay and can be processed, or if something needs to be added, then the employee was able to update it manually. Okay, then a second prototype that we did, actually it was MVP because it was also launched into production and tested by users, like real users from the client, which was a virtual agent we created for Swiss insurance. And here it was about optimizing the current claim reporting system, which was at this point of time only possible either to do via a telephone call or via different forms that were on the web page. But there was a lot of things that needed to be updated on the forms, and making it a bit hard for the people to have a quick process on this part. So what we did was setting up a very simple conversation tree. And we integrated the backend system of the insurance company so that we actually were able to retrieve the information of the user. We could save the report directly, and we could actually do a quick check if the claim report is valid or not, so that the person was directly receiving an answer with the information if this reporting will go through or not, and in cases there were missing fields, for example, then the user has directly received the contact for his supervisor in the claim reporting. Okay, so this is about some sample projects we did, but now I want to go into the CIO Move event 2019. This is a very special project we did, and which also where we actually created this game that we are going to play later. But before we actually see the game itself, I want to explain you the story of this project and why did we actually build a game for that. So CIO Move is a global conference which brings together the different CIOs from multinational companies from actually over all continents. And this program or conference is happening annually. And normally they're discussing topics like innovation and intelligence integration. So how can they bring all the different new topics into their companies? And normally this conference is about 3 days long, where all the CIOs gather together and really just communicate and network and understand the new high-end topics. And in 2019, they were actually meeting in New York, and all the German CIOs, so German, Swiss and Austrian CIOs, were meeting in Frankfurt and were flying from Frankfurt together to New York. And of course, the event organizers were thinking, okay, if we have so many CIOs, so approximately 50 plus their spouses already together in Frankfurt, and they're flying for like 7 to 8 hours together, it makes sense to have something happening already in the plane. because otherwise there's a lot of unused time where people kind of are together but cannot really communicate because they are bound to their seat. So we did a design thinking workshop with the CIO Move event organizers and actually also with the Lufthansa technical team from the Flying Lab. And we were brainstorming what we can do. So first of all, we needed to understand exactly what are all the pain points during this flight, what are the limitations in the plane. And from there on, we continued to look in what kind of goals can we achieve? What is the goal that we want to happen after the people came out of the plane? What are the things they want to take with them during this time? And then we created a storyboard to understand what are the different steps from starting with the encounter on the Frankfurt airport until they are in New York. So the goal that we came up with was to develop a game which will be played then in this plane during this 7 to 8 hours. And actually also going to be able to be used in New York itself. And this game should be able to educate the people on artificial intelligence, and in that case, specifically computer vision. And they should be able to network in the plane together. They should be, of course, entertained during this time. And we wanted to have a seamless experience from the start in Frankfurt until the end in New York when the people leave again. So how does the storyboard look that we came up with? At the beginning, when the people gather together in the airport at the gate, we thought about having a booth. And at this booth, there are, of course, beverage and some food and so on. But overall, the idea was that the people already see each other and get to know each other, so they can have already the first networking part. Then in the plane itself, so we are working together there with the Lufthansa Flying Lab. And for those people who don't know the Flying Lab, the idea there is that there actually is a server happening there. They have video cameras and like a complete thought through how to make presentations on the plane. So this is the technology that we reuse then on the plane to do presentations there, and also, of course, to share with a local Wi-Fi the game for all the people. So we had this formal introduction, first of all, to kind of like bring the people the whole agenda that we are planning to do. And also we had a quick introduction of the game there, where we showed how the game is played and what can be done there. And then the next step was that the people actually did the data collection. Data collection in that case means they had to do pictures of the neighbors of their faces, so that the system was able to recognize the faces and actually also their emotions, like if they are happy, sad, fearful, and so on. And then we had an education on TensorFlow and deep learning. So to give them also a bit of knowledge on what is the technology behind this game. So when the people then arrived in New York, they were able to check in the hotel via this face recognition application that they trained themselves. And here was the idea to really show this seamless experience. So what they were training in the plane was directly reused when they landed in New York. And then for the next couple of days of the conference, the people were able to use the app also to recognize the people from the group and recognize also monuments in New York. So this is also something we brought into the game to train already on some monuments, like well-known monuments in New York. And at the end of the whole conference, there was a closing session And during this closing session, the people got a prize, and that prize was related to how much points have been over the whole conference taken by all the people, like by uploading pictures or by testing the system with making new pictures to recognize people. So for all that, there were some points given in the game, and the best 3 people did receive a small prize at the end of the conference. Okay, so just to show you a bit what is our development team, we have here a setup of a project manager. I was doing the delivery lead role in the project, and we had 2 developers that were doing the backend development and the AI algorithms. We had a UI UX designer, front-end developer, DevOps engineer, and gamification engineer. And for the timeline, so we had the innovation workshop mid of January last year. And then the project started in beginning of February. We had sprints of 2 weeks. And after 3 sprints, we had most of our core functionality ready. So we could start then with some tests, internal tests and external tests. And then we were optimizing the performance and adding some extended functionality, which was requested but not really needed to have that all then launched by end of April. And on the 1st May, we were then taking the flight to New York to actually show and play the game. So how does the game look like? So here you see a few screenshots. In the middle is the screenshot of the home screen. And you had several stages you could do. And in the first stage, you had to train the algorithm, the deep learning model. And here you see that you have to provide several pictures of your neighbor, or in that case, it was from myself. And you make pictures then in the different emotions. And of course, you try to make them as realistic as possible, as the whole system is trained with the data that is uploaded there. And after the people then landed in New York in the hotel, they were then able to test the system. So we could give them the right key to their room. And here you see then that on this picture, for example, I have been recognized, and also my mood have been recognized here as sad. Yeah, so what did we do? We had 3 different deep learning models, one for the facial recognition, one for mood recognition, one for object detection. And we used here convolutional neural networks to build those models. And we used some gamification approach to give points to the user. So with each picture they uploaded, or each picture they tested, they received points. And there was a leaderboard that was showing always the current status, who is on top of the board. And yeah, people were kind of pretty happy to get on top of the list. So there was one child of one of the CIOs. He didn't stop playing the whole day during the flight. He was playing until the last minute when we had to stop the server for the landing part. It was very funny that he asked if it isn't possible that he can still continue playing. So yeah, it can be a bit of addictive. Okay, so quick view on the architecture, what we built here. So we used a complete stack on Amazon AWS. And of course, we had also a local setup for the flight itself. And it was very important that we have a simple setup which can be easily moved from local to AWS. And that's why we built a microservice architecture. So we could move it easily then to the different Elastic Kubernetes services in AWS. Okay, here are just some insights of how the event was going on. So you see here we had the interview on the plane where we were explaining the game, and also we were showing how to play the game. So here on the picture, for example, I'm making a happy picture of Jürgen Pinkel, who is the managing director of Accenture Technology in ASG. And you also can see here some more pictures, how we trained, for example, the models also on the monuments in New York. Okay, then I would say we're going directly in to the game. I will first show to you how the game works, and then you can play it yourself. Okay, so this is the page. I will post later the link after I'm finished. So here you can just log in with the email address that you used to register for the webinar. In case your email address doesn't work for whatever reason, then you can click here at the bottom on this link to register a new account. Okay, but normally it should work for all of you. We did a registration of all the people that were registered to the webinar and wanted to join the game. So after you log in, you get a small privacy statement. This is there because we are, of course, using your pictures of the emotions to train the model. But after this event, I will directly turn off the server and delete all the data. This is just for the moment of this event that we can process the pictures. So you have to consent, otherwise you cannot play the game. And then you're going to get an introduction from our AI agent, which is called Civi. And she will just quickly tell you what this game is about, and explain you also that we have some leaderboard and statistics that you can watch. But as I will show you as well. So here, up here is the leaderboard. You can click on it and you can see the people and also your own rank where you are currently. You can see here also the game rules for what you can get points in the game. And the statistics are a small overview of the difference between how a human perceives emotions and how the AI perceives emotions based on the data that we had on the on the CIO Move event. So with the CIOs, with the pictures of the emotions that they did, we created some small statistics here. Okay, so how do you start a game? You have here the first stage. You can just click into it, and then you see here the different emotions you will need to take pictures of. And then one important thing before I click on Let's Start, you need to always have your video free. So I'm quickly going to stop my video on the Zoom. And then when you click on Let's Start, you can use here your camera to make the actual pictures. Normally, you will get up here next to the URL, you will get a pop-up if you want to share your camera or not. So you will need to give the permission to access the camera. Or you can, of course, if you want, you can also make pictures of yourself and then just upload the picture with this button over here. In my case, I will make the pictures directly. So you just make the pictures that are requested from you. So the first one was happy, then the second one is neutral. Then the next one is angry. And then surprise. One thing I also want to mention, you should try to have your face always in this outline. That helps the AI system to get a good view of where your face is in. So if you have your face, for example, somewhere here, the AI system will be having issues to identify your face on the picture. And also when you do the pictures, just make sure that the lighting conditions are good, that you're not too far back, or that you have several people on the same picture. This will also bring issues to train on the real face in the picture. And then you just continue to finish all the pictures. So now I set one. And discussed it. And the last one is a fearful. Okay, so after you did all the pictures, you see here everywhere also the amount of points you're getting for uploading the pictures. And you can continue training the model, so uploading further pictures, which will help the system, of course, to recognize your face, as just 7 pictures is not really a large amount of pictures. So it might have sometimes issues to still recognize you if there are, for example, people that look similar, have similar features. It will be pretty hard for the system to distinguish those people. So sometimes it helps to add some additional training pictures to the system. Okay, I'm going back to the journey, and you see now those steps started to get available for us. And I first want to show you the who is who stage. So here you will see all the pictures that all the participants just now uploaded. And this is a quick introduction, which shows how the stage is working. So you will up here always see a picture, and then you have to choose who is on the picture. So in that case, it is CV. And then you have to say, what is the mood of this person? So here it's happy. And then you see already new pictures, and I see some people already started to upload, and I have to say I'm sadly not sure who it is, so I will just try out. Okay, that was wrong. And then here with the emotion. Okay, and this stage is actually never ending, so you can continue as long as you want, or as long until the time ends. But you can, at the top right, always go back to the home view. So when you're on the home view, you can also click here on the fun facts, and here you can see how many people already you have recognized, how many have recognized you, and which of your faces have not been recognized correctly. And then at the end, there is a stage for our computer vision model that we have already trained. And here you can make a new picture. And you will get the results of the AI system. So in my case, there's no monument detected, as all the monuments we trained are from New York. And you see here, I have been already detected correctly. And also my mood has been detected as happy. And you can also use here uploaded pictures, so you don't always have to use the camera. So I will just upload a test image that I created out of Julia, me, and Linda. And if everything works fine, then we should have all 3 of us detected. The detection always takes a bit of time, as there are a lot of different features that first need to be generated and then compared. Okay, while this is loading, I will already paste the link. Okay, the link is also in the chat, so everyone can access it. And yeah, here you see now also the results. So it detected Julia, Linda, and also myself. And you see here also the emotion. So for Julia, it's happy. For me, it's neutral. And Linda is sad. So seems also that it understands the emotions pretty well here. And yeah, that's it for the introduction. And I would say now is the time for you to play around a bit with the game. And I see a lot of you already started, so I think we can make it like 10 minutes to finish the game. And I'll put in some launch music, so it's not so calm in here.
Natalie. Should we continue maybe with?
Yeah, I think we can go on. I mean, people can play the game also in the background still.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Then I wanted to sum up quickly the learnings we saw today. So we saw about how a delivery process is going in Accenture. So from the problem statement creation, the ideation to actually build the solution itself.
Natalie, sorry, could you please kill the elevator music in the back?
Oh, of course. Okay, good. Then we saw that innovation goes well along with POCs. That means that we don't want to bring innovation directly in a large system, but we can try out with POCs that are decoupled from the existing solution first. What is the impact and how it works, and then it is easily possible to actually integrate it in the real system. Another point we heard today is that AI needs the right data. So specifically for the face recognition part here, I told you about, for example, the quality of the pictures, that it's not too dark in the room, that the face is centered, and things like that. So this is for AI, of course, one of the most important things, that the data is in a good shape, and of course also the objects or the people visible on the pictures, that they are pretty well distinguishable. And the other point we heard about was the lightweight architecture. So it's very important, depending on where you are or on what kind of setup you're working on, that you have the architecture set up the way that you have easy effort to also migrate it to other parts, for example, into the cloud. And from there, I think we can go directly into the Q&A. I'm just reading through the messages in the chat.
Can you hear me? Natalie, there's one question in the chat that asks, what's POC?
POC stands for proof of concept. So really showing with a project that you create that it's helping with the problem statement that has been defined before.
Mm-hmm. Then we have one more question from Belinda Müller. Liquid Studio sounds like a fantastic place to work. Are there positions especially for Liquid Studios, in brackets, as a machine learning engineer, question mark?
Yes, definitely. We're always looking for new people for the Liquid Studio. So we have our core team, which is approximately 50 people. But we are always looking to extend the team, of course, to also add up new projects into the pipeline. And then we always need some additional help. So we are also working actually together with the delivery centers, for example, in Riga or in Bratislava. And when we are kind of limited in the amount of people we currently have, then we are getting there some help also from the delivery center. So yes, we are always looking for additional people.
I guess we will share some more contacts and career emails at the end of the next.
Yep.
There's one more question, Natalie, from Karen. Great game. What is the price range to develop a solution like this?
That's a very complicated question. Of course, it always depends on what exactly needs to be built. So for this one, we had a team of 8 people for 3 whole months, which is still pretty simple case. But if you imagine you want to have even more features in the game, then of course it takes longer there. I don't have the exact numbers of how much it was to build this game. but it always is depending on the amount of people and the timeline and the features to then, of course, have it more complicated or less complicated.
And where the people sit. So the people in your team, they were sitting with you in Germany?
The team was actually very mixed. We had one person from Riga, one person from Munich, one person from London, and 3 people from Kronberg. So in that case, also whenever we were meeting together to really work from one location, that also meant that people had to charge their travel time and their tickets and so on. So in that case, the number was a bit higher, specifically also with the travels.
Then we have one other question from Nicole, who said, what data did you use to train the detection of emotions? Only the pictures taken in the game?
That's a good question. Actually, we used already a pre-trained model. So we used a model from Microsoft that was already trained on the emotions. And then we added the new pictures that were made in the game. So there's a training system on the fly, which whenever a new picture is added, is retraining the model with the new picture and adding it to the training set. And pretty similar setup we actually have also for the face recognition itself. So the face recognition also has a pre-trained model, which in general recognizes already faces. And then we also train on top with this pictures that you did to have a direct model for this user, a new model for this one user.
Mm-hmm. There's many questions dropping in. From iPick, could we have a look back to example projects from Liquid Studios? Let's wait for a quick moment to answer the question regarding the game, if that's okay. So what's the name of this Microsoft model for emotions?
I would need to look it up. I would need to look it up, but I can ping it afterwards in the chat, or you can also contact me later via email or LinkedIn for that regarding one, because it's a year ago and I would need to check it.
And also regarding the question regarding Liquid Studios, the slide will be distributed for you after the presentation, so you can have a look again at the details. Maybe this is okay. And then we have one more question: how the solution differentiates from a Salesforce solution. I don't understand this question. IPEC, maybe.
Yeah, maybe I can just elaborate on that, because Natalie showed 2 examples with this claim management. It's Swiss, one of the Swiss companies now, I cannot recall it. But there it was not clear, the solution you just created for them couldn't be created with Salesforce as well, or is it a very specific problem that you have solved with Liquid Studios? That was not clear to me.
I mean, I think you can also reuse Salesforce there. I mean, Salesforce has this Einstein library, which also is capable of doing a lot of AI things. So I think it always depends on what the client needs or wants. In that case, the client wanted to have complete open source technology. So we built actually all the models and systems ourselves with open source libraries from Python. So yeah, in that case, we couldn't use Salesforce, but of course in other projects it would be also possible to use it.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So I think at this point it's a little bit a shame, but we need to stop the Q&A because time is running out. Actually, it's already 1 o'clock. Let's run over to the contact details and Joshua, and then I will make a very, very short closing, and then we're off for lunch.
Yes.
So for the questions that are still open, maybe you can, regarding the game, you can raise them directly to Natalie. Is that okay?
Exactly. So you can see here my details. You can send the open questions still to me via mail or LinkedIn. And I'll also post my my credentials in the chat. Or actually, I see Joshua already did. Thanks a lot. And then I would also directly give over to Joshua to say a bit about HR in Accenture and how to contact Accenture itself.
Okay, thank you very much, Natalie, and hope we have a little bit time left. Just to everyone, my name is Joshua, and I'm a responsible recruiter at Accenture for different services like strategy, consulting, technology, and interactive. And in the end of the webinar today, I want to give you a short overview about the recruiting at Accenture. First of all, you can find on the top of the slide the link to our career site. I already put it in the chat. And just for your information, if you are on the career site, on the right top, you can switch to different locations. So you can also find some open positions at other locations of Accenture. Yes, but to give you a short overview, what kind of possible open positions we have at the moment. For example, more on the junior side, we have a lot of trainees or jump starts, for example, in the topic of software engineering, business analysts, and test automation. A lot of junior consultant roles in, for example, cybersecurity, tech advisor, and so on, but also for all experienced people, a lot of experienced roles like consultant or manager roles to the topic of IT development, data, or Industry X. So please have a look on our career site, and in case you find an interesting position, please feel free to apply directly on the application tool at our career site. So that would be the easiest way to apply for the positions. And below on that slide, you can find also the links to our social media channels. We are always happy about new followers there. And I think here you will get a good insight into the world of Accenture, different projects, as mentioned from Julia, different programs like, for example, the Female Talent Program, and also about possibilities in the career entry or different job roles. And just on the bottom, for your information, all the addresses for the ASG locations. And yes, as already mentioned, I put the links into the chat from our LinkedIn. But for you, if you want to have a deep dive in a specific topic, you can follow this link. I put it into the chat. It is about our career lunches. And here you will have the chance, for example, to apply with the LinkedIn profile to a specific topic, for example, software engineering or strategy consulting, something like that. And you could have a deep dive with a colleague of Accenture and talk about an hour about the specific topic and possible entries. Yeah. So, and now I think if someone has any open questions, please free to put it in the chat. Was a little bit fast, but yeah. Regarding the time. Yes, and if in case we don't have any questions, please feel free to contact us via our LinkedIn links. So that's also fine for me.
Good, perfect. Thank you very much, Joshua. And a very huge thank you to Natalie for the great presentation. It was really very fun to join in and see you presenting the game the way you did. And also thank you for the very valuable technological background information and everything about you that you told us. It was really very, very entertaining and interesting. And thank you. You're welcome. And thank you very much, Linda, for all your all your support and the great way of working together. I really enjoyed it, and thank you for pulling all the strings on behalf of Accenture to make this happen. And thank you as well, Julia and Joshua, for participating and making this great webinar. And the next slide, please. So just a sneak preview of our next two Lunch and Learn events. One is in November the 24th with Tanja Koch on how to scale a 3D printing startup. And the next one will be on December the 2nd by the Rose Framework. So I'm looking forward to this. I hope you are as well. Please, here you see our subscription for the newsletter. Keep updated through this. And next slide, please. Please share your feedback with us through email whenever you want to. So thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did, and stay safe, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you from my side as well. Thank you to the team. Amazing. Thank you. Have a good day, everyone. Stay safe.
Have a good day. Thank you.
Have a good day. Bye bye all.
Bye
Thank
bye.
you.
Thank you.
You all.